Before I came to Uganda, I was living in New York City. I was working on Wall Street. It was like a very, very different life than the one that I have here. And definitely there were some moments when I first came where I was like, what am I actually doing? Babota, smashing pumpkins. Osula, Omalibwa. Yeah, smashing pumpkins. I'm matched with an org called Bugatti Sacco. Bugatti is the name of a place, and a Sacco is essentially a credit union. Members save, they can receive loans, and we meet with them we meet with different smaller groups of members on around a monthly basis, and as a Peace Corps volunteer, part of my job is teaching lessons. So I'm working at the organizational level of the bank, but I'm also meeting with members and doing small projects with small groups of members. I was talking with a lot of members about the challenges they were facing and trying to think of ways that I could uplift. Many of our members mentioned the insecurity that they felt from the changing of the climate, just not being able to predict the seasons. And so I wanted to think of some way to help our members, both to help them maintain a water source that they could fill during the rainy season, to harvest water that they could use in the dry season. I mean, Uganda has more rainfall than Britain by far, like double the amount of rainfall as many countries that we think of as very wet. But it's high volume, and it's only for 2 rainy seasons, and then there's one long and one short dry season. And during those periods, like, people can't sell their crops and they die. For me, like, I think one of the biggest challenges in Peace Corps has just been like the way, like the working, like the intercultural working context. Like, it's just really different. That's one of the coolest things about being a volunteer, is like learning about that different work environment. Like, especially if you're someone that like wants to do international development long term. Like, it's not gonna work for you to just go into foreign countries and work in an American way. Like, you have to really adapt to the local context. Oh, Uganda, mama wange. Oh, Uganda, mama wange. Tuli kuja waka wange. I think there are days where I'm definitely like, even as I'm doing something that I know is going to change lives and change communities, I'm still thinking maybe I'm doing more harm than good, because sometimes that cultural clash can be just overbearing. I don't think there's one American culture or one African culture, but there's definitely a lot to get used to. And, you know, being a girl that likes to do carpentry and I wear pants around town, and like I like to go for runs, and like, you know, I live by my own and I'm not married and I'm 25, like that's crazy. One of the challenges that I was really looking forward to facing in Peace Corps was learning a new language, and like I think part of that was I hadn't learned a new language in a while, and I knew that it was something I wanted to do, to speak another language. Also, my mom was a Peace Corps volunteer in Nepal, and she came back speaking Hindi, and that was super cool. Maina ga futuma, pumpi bulunaku, afumba bidanda. Almost every day she cooks me beans. This is town. This is my site. I come here every night. I don't have refrigeration, so I'm always coming here every single night to buy whatever vegetables I'm planning to cook. Cooking's probably one of my favorite parts of the day, because it's some time that I can just do by myself, kind of relax, unwind from whatever's happened. So this is my best friend. Everybody, when they get to site, they have to make some furniture for their house. So this carpenter, local carpenter, Jacobo, made me some simple shelves. And I came in and I said, hey, like, I really want to learn. I'll pay for all the wood and stuff. Like, can you show me how it's done? And I started learning here. And this is like, I mean, I think I got really lucky. Like, I did want to learn carpentry, but I don't think I would still be doing it had I not found a community here. Like, whenever I'm here, like, these are the people I'm with in town, and these are my boys. Like, they feel like my brothers.
Coming into Peace Corps, I was somehow ignorant. I kept thinking, I'm so excited to go to Uganda and teach Ugandans about education, about health and hygiene, about literacy, about anything. In coming here, It's been the opposite. I'm not the teacher, I'm the student here. They've been teaching me every day for the past year and a half now.
Good morning, our vista. We are happy to see you, our vista.
I expected to come in and teach, education techniques, classroom techniques, but the teachers here are incredibly talented and they've taught me how to be in a classroom with 60 pupils.
What we do? Shake. Well done.
As an education volunteer, I'm focusing on the primary literacy project here in Uganda. And what that is really getting pupils to focus on critical thinking through reading. Right now, many schools have curriculum books, which are great for educational purposes, but in that teaching, you don't get the same connection to books that you get with, say, storybooks. So what we're really trying to do is to get pupils access to these storybooks and kind of work with them in learning how to make connections with books, how to predict what's going to happen, how to visualize what the book is saying, and eventually have them be able to understand all that, and then maybe even write on their own.
So we are proud and we really want to extend our sincere appreciation and thanks to Peace Corps for having given us one of the greatest guys. And so, we believe with him we can make this place a better place.
There will never be another job that challenges me as much, not only in the day-to-day life, but in thinking, in confronting these difficult topics of race and socioeconomic status, and I can't shy away from it here. I'm living with it day to day, interacting with it, and that's a really, really helpful growing experience for me. Check.
Yes.
Where? Exactly. Very nice job. So, when I first came here, I was only teaching in the classroom. And that was a lot of fun, but I know when I was a kid, extracurricular activities are what I really look forward to at the end of each day. And they do have sports here, and that's great, but I know when I was a kid, my dad taught a chess club at the end of every day, and that was something I really enjoyed. And so I figured I would try it here. The school bought 6 chess boards, and it really took off. I'm really happy with it. But it's not because of me. The teachers have learned it very quickly and enjoyed it very much.
We brought a chess game here now. Playing chess, I learned from him. We have formed a chess club here in this school. Chess has never existed in the school. He has just brought it. I think we are now doing it perfectly with the members in the club. And even me myself, I learned, but now I am doing it almost better than what we
You're working on chess. Thank you. By the way, this is the birthplace of humanity.
Very far away, lives an old man, with a bending back, and a crooked stick.
Exactly that. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you too.
My name is Lala Day. I'm a health volunteer and I work at the Como Learning Center in Kono, Uganda. We're currently at the youth center where I spend most of my time. There's a health center over there that you see later on. And I kind of alternate between the health center and the youth center, but I spend most of my time here. David!
Yes.
What's the hotel?
Yeah, what's up, Kale nawe bano kubeera wano ku Como Learning Centers.
On a typical day, I don't have a typical day, so on different days I do different things, and during my IST, they had this thing where they try to get us involved in other, even though I'm a health volunteer, I try to get get us involved in like education stuff or agribusiness stuff. And one of the sessions I attended was on VSLAs. And when I came back, I thought it was something the youth would really like, and I pitched the idea to them, and they wanted to do it. So we set up a VSLA, create a budget, like what are the things that you actually need to pay for, like food, like your rent, transportation, those kind of things. When you deduct that from the income that you make, you have up to 200,000 shillings.
So even when she's a health volunteer, she's also supporting all other things that connect. So like, it's more like a building block and everything is connecting together, and I really like that. So it's something that I would also encourage other Peace Corps volunteers. If you are into education, you could venture into, going livelihood, supporting community development, because all of them are interconnected and they contribute to the bigger goal of developing communities.
That way when they test you and they find out that you have malaria, they can start you on treatments. Some days I'm like more active, like I'm moving around, talking to people, interacting with people, preparing materials. But some other days I'm just like sitting on my computer, maybe like writing a report, or sometimes my supervisor asks me to help out with like very random things. Halfway through the day we have lunch. We have amazing lunch here. So my work provides food for everyone who comes here. In the afternoon is when things get really busy at the youth center, because all the youth come around. Not all the youth, but a lot of the youth come around. They have like the drama team. They have the rehearsals in the afternoon after lunch. Most meetings, I think people just like to schedule things after lunch. Our first 3 months in country is PSC, pre-service training, and it's broken into different parts. So the first 3 weeks you're at this training center where you kind of learn about the Peace Corps framework, and you learn about Peace Corps Uganda, and you learn about your program specifically. So like health, we received a number of basic trainings in like topics we're expected to focus on. So like HIV and maternal and child health, nutrition, those kind of things. You receive like basic lessons to kind of like help. You get more trainings along the way, but just kind of like the basics to get you started. And after 3 weeks, we get moved to homestay and language training. I think it was my favorite part of PSD, because you get to live with a Ugandan family. You get to learn about like Ugandan culture from the family, while during the day you go to language class. When we were on our way to the village we were staying for homestay, I was feeling very, very anxious, because I was like, what if my host family doesn't like me? What if they're expecting a white volunteer and then they're disappointed because I'm a black volunteer? I just didn't know what my living situation was going to be like. What are my siblings going to be like? What kind of food are we going to be eating? But when I got there, when I met my host mom, like she was like the sweetest woman ever. Like she just like embraced me and hugged me and made me feel very welcome. Like I just like all the anxieties just like flew out the window, because I was like, wow, okay, guess I'm here now. And I learned Uganda. So for 5 weeks, every day, from 8 till 5 p.m., we're learning Uganda. And you're expected to get to a certain level by the end of those 5 weeks before you get sworn in. It's a little challenging, but not too challenging. Like you will get there. Like, kati. So we're at the tailor's. I come here quite often, at least like once a month, because I like to get stuff made. Actually, most volunteers like to get stuff made by tailors with the fabric here. It's called kitenge. When you're legally and medically cleared, you go to staging. Now staging is just, I think, two or 3 days you spend right before you fly out, where you get to meet everyone. You get to, I guess, talk about your expectations. They kind of explain to you what the Peace Corps program would look like. And yeah, and then you get on the plane, you get to country.